Listen and you type in supplemental rules for Admiralty or Maritime claims and asset forfeiture actions. Supplemental rules for Admiralty or Maritime claims and asset forfeiture actions. That's what venue you're in right now. You are not in an Article 3 court. And then you scroll down, and I encourage everybody to read all this. Don't just fucking scroll down past it.
I'm there. Yeah, I know. But so I'm scrolling down.
When I discovered this, I brought this up to some of my mentors, and I'm like, how did you find that?
Shit. How did you find that? What the fuck?
Just one day I was reading something. I was reading about the law of salvage because I understand that they're dealing with vessels and domestic trusts in rem action.
Shit.
Came across this, and now I need to take you to the section, I believe it's Rule E, Actions in Rem and Quasi in Rem General Provisions. And this is where it talks about your birth certificate.
Holy shit. What the hell, bro?
It says A, complaint in action to which this rule is applicable. The complaint shall state the circumstances for which the claim arises with such particularity that the defendant or claimant will be able, without moving for a more definite statement, to commence an investigation of the facts and to frame a responsive pleading. But it talks about the complaint being a complaint security, and then it goes on to talk about the birth certificate. But this is not specific enough. I need to actually go to where it is located.
So you can file your birth certificate inside of the court case. Is that what it's sounding like, or
you send it to the clerk for set off and discharge? It's right there. It's concurrent with 40 Statute at Large 411 Section 7E.
Hey, so I got a quick question. If you have a certificate of citizenship, does that work the same?
B, general bond. The owner of the vessel may file a general bond or stipulation with sufficient surety to be approved by the court. Conditions to answer the judgment of such court, any and all or any actions that may be brought thereafter in such court in which the vessel is attached or arrested. Thereupon, the execution of all such processes against such vessels shall be stayed so long as the amount secured by such bond or stipulation is at least double the aggregate amount claimed by the plaintiff in all actions begun and pending in which such vessel has been attached or arrested. Judgments are remedies may be had on such bonds or stipulation as if a special bond or stipulation had been filed in each of the such actions. The district court may make necessary orders to carry this rule into effect, particularly as to the giving of proper notice of any action against the attachment of a vessel for which the general bonds has been filed. Such bond or stipulation shall be endorsed by the clerk with a minute of the action wherein process is so stayed. Further security may be required by the court at any time. If a special bond or stipulation is given in a particular case, the liability on the general bond or stipulation shall cease as to that case. That right there's your birth certificate they're talking about. Special bond. Released by consent or stipulation, order of the court clerk, cost any vessel, cargo, or other property in the custody of the marshal or other person or organization having a warrant may be released forthwith upon the marshal acceptance and approval of a stipulation, bond, or other security. The other security they're talking about is the birth certificate, signed by the party on whose behalf the property is detained or the party's attorney, and expressly authorize such release if all costs and charges of the court and its officers shall have first been paid. Otherwise, no property in the custody of the marshal, other person, or organization having the warrant — a warrant is nothing more than a check, it's a put call — or other officer of the court shall be released without an order of the court, but such order may be entered into, of course, by the clerk upon the giving of the approved security as provided by law and these rules, or upon the dismissal or discontinuance of the action, but the marshal or other person or organization having the warrant shall not deliver any property so released until the cost and charges of the officer of the court shall first have been paid. Possessory, detatory, and partition action. The foregoing provisions of this of this subdivision 5 do not apply to petitory, possessory, and partition actions. In such cases, the property arrested shall be released only by order of the court on such terms and conditions and on the giving of such security as the court may require. Anyway, when I came across this, I was just blown the fuck away. Security and counterclaim. When a person who has given security for damages in the original action asserts a counterclaim that arises from the transaction or occurrence that is the subject of the original action, a plaintiff whose benefit the security has been given must give security for damages demand in a counterclaim unless the court, for the cause shown, directs otherwise. Proceedings on the original claim must be stayed until the security is given unless the court is directed otherwise. The plaintiff is required to give security under Rule E7A when the United States or its corporate instrumentality counterclaims and would have been required to give security to respond in damages if a private party but is relieved by law from giving security. Again, the complaint is a security, all right? And it's your security. It's your property attached to your vessel. It's Maritime Admiralty. They're not in the Article 3 courts. They're Maritime Admiralty. Mm-hmm. Under Roman civil law.
Bastards.
But anyway,